Hello and welcome back. I am very exhausted. Happy Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday. This week has been just a complete whirlwind, so this episode is going up a little bit later, but it's gonna be a good one. I'm feeling very tired, very exhausted. I think it's really funny. I actually made like a TikTok or a video or something basically talking about the fact that having a lot of fun, like when you're in like a having fun mode, it is extremely exhausting. And I feel like it's something that's not talked about a lot because, I don't know, I've just never heard anyone mention the fact that like having a lot of fun is very tiring. Maybe it's just me, maybe my threshold for what I can handle. I feel like I'm someone that needs more sleep and that can't just run on fumes and coffee and sugar and like Adderall and stuff like that. Like I feel like my body like wants normalcy and like homeostasis and sleep and all of that. So it's harder for me to just run amok and do a bunch of stuff all the time and be so stimulated and like not sleep enough, because I literally feel like I am in a fever dream right now, truly. So we'll see where this episode takes us, but I am very out of it. I've been having so much fun. I've been frolicking around, going out all the time, meeting new friends, meeting new people, having just like the best time. Just like being single gives you more time to do so much more. And it's obviously sad and also a good thing as well. So I'm really in between the mix of both, of like enjoying going out, but also being sad that I don't have this like at home, stable, you know, like other person type of thing that I'm used to. So it's definitely a mix, but I'm really enjoying myself ultimately, and so many doors have opened and new opportunities and things. And I think that's what I'm most grateful for, is that just I've had such an opening of so many new things, and I've really extended myself and I've grown, and I've really gotten used to also being alone, which I think has always been really hard for me. And even though it's only been like 3 weeks, it still feels like I've grown a lot in that way too. So I figured today I was gonna do reading my journal entries, and I think that's why I was putting off doing this episode, because I want to read and go through. I've been going through all my old journals and photo books and all of that, and I feel like that's going to be a really special episode just because it's very vulnerable and raw and just like very open, and it makes me nervous, and also I think brings up a lot of stuff, so I'm a little more hesitant. Yeah, I just decided that I think that I'm going to save that episode for a time, a week, when I feel like it's not as raw and I'm not as sensitive to it, because I just feel like it's a very intense time in my life, and I think a lot of intense emotions come with it, so maybe I need to process it some before I just openly share it. So this week I'm just gonna do a Q&A and little advice column type vibe, which I want to start doing once a month anyways. So yeah, let's get into it. Let me just start recording real quickly. Okay, let's see here. I have started hanging out with this. Okay. So today, yeah, we're gonna do a little advice column slash just kind of like advice column, Q&A, check-in, whatever. Maybe you're new here, maybe I can answer some questions that are new to me, because sometimes it's funny, it's like I'll do Q&As, and even if, you know, the basics don't change about me, obviously, like where I'm from, what my name is, whatever, but some other things sometimes change, so it's kind of cool to do like a new kind of Q&A check-in. So I got a lot of good questions too. I asked on Instagram. I have a really exciting meeting in a half hour. I cannot wait. I just like, it feels so surreal. Like when I mentioned how doors are opening recently for me, once I started kind of prioritizing my own self and my own needs and wants and stuff, it's crazy how much can happen. I just got this crazy, like I'm doing this crazy project for this crazy brand that it's just like surreal to me. So I have a meeting in like 30 minutes. I'm kind of giddy from that, but I'm really excited. Let me just pull up this Q&A. Okay, here we go. So I got a lot of good ones. Let's just get into it. Someone said, I love my boyfriend, but I'm starting to feel like I don't see myself with him long term and I feel guilty. Very normal-ish thing. I think that I have varying opinions on this, because I think on one hand, it's really important to just have a good time with someone and be present, and if you love them and are enjoying yourself, then why would you end something or deprive yourself of that, right? Like I'm on that side where I'm like not everything has to be for marriage, not everything has to be forever. But I think if you're getting to a point where, or if this is a priority for you, you're getting to a point where you're like, well, I don't see this person being in my life long term, and that's something that maybe you've been together with them for a while, or it's something that, you know, you're of age where you're thinking about that more, then I think it's definitely something to think about. And sometimes you have to let someone go if they're not right for you, or you don't feel certain ways, and it can be really hard, but it's important to do. So it really depends on your situation, but I think ultimately if you're even asking someone this question, then you kind of have a gut feeling, you know? I always go by that like if you're asking the question, then you already have a feeling about it. And is it gonna go away? Is that feeling gonna continue to linger or go away, you know? Someone said, tips on restarting with an ex. Well, I wouldn't say it's 100% advisable. I think it depends again on your situation, but I think that, I guess some tips for restarting would be to really set clear boundaries. That's one thing that I've had to do in the past, is be like, okay, do we actually want to be together again? What are some things that weren't working in a relationship? Like what went wrong? Like kind of just really discussing and navigating kind of like what happened, what we can do moving forward. Like if you actually want to be in something again, like all those kind of questions. I think answering the main questions before you get into that game again is really important. So yeah. Favorite fashion trend for spring. I'm actually making a little reel series on this, so I'm going to be making some posts on it, but I really like, of course it's trash day. Of course it's trash day when I'm recording an episode. Like, why is that? It's like any other day, any other time, dead silent here. I press record, trash day. It's fantastic. Anyways, favorite spring fashion trends. Metallics, backless outfits. I really like lingerie kind of things, like lingerie tops, slip dresses, stuff like that, to incorporate into your wardrobe. I like a lot of see-through, like I think mesh and lace and all of those are gonna be really big. I think cargos are really fire for spring. I think trousers, like office chic vibes, is gonna be really good for spring. Knits, you know, incorporating knits in other ways, whether it's like arm warmers, leg warmers, knitted tops, like stuff like that, are really fun. So I'll do more of that on Instagram, but those are my favorites so far. Someone said how to deal with grief. I just lost my dog, who's my best friend, and lost my grandpa recently. I think that, I mean, I'm so sorry if you're listening to this and reading this, but I think dealing with grief would be actually a really good other episode to do, a full one on, but I think ultimately some of the best advice that I've gotten about dealing with grief is to just ultimately feel it, to experience it, to let it move through you, to let it sit with you, to be silent if you need, to kind of notice your coping mechanisms, to notice what feels good, what doesn't. Maybe you're gravitating towards people more, maybe you're wanting to be more isolated. Like really just honor your needs during this time, because it's one of the hardest, if not the hardest things that we have to go through as humans. And so I think just honoring yourself, not putting any pressure on yourself, learning your coping mechanisms, understanding what's making you feel good and what doesn't, and just literally taking it day by day. You know, some days are going to be better than others. I've really learned that even with minor things like heartbreak, friendship breakups, all of that. It's just a day by day process. So don't be too hard on yourself. I love you. I'm really sorry. If anyone's going through anything right now that is, or something you're grieving, whether it's small or large, I'm really sorry. And it's really like an up and down thing. It's never just like, okay, you're over it one day, you know? But all right. Someone said, how can I take cool pics of myself alone? You're like the queen of timer, of self-timer pics. I actually don't use self-timer that much. It may look like it, but I actually have a lot of friends. Like, I'll be out with my friends and they take a lot of photos of me. Obviously, if it's a selfie or something like that, then I take it. But I also say invest in a tripod. Not even invest, excuse me. They're super cheap on Amazon. Definitely get a tripod. I would say use Lens Buddy. Lens Buddy is a great app for self-timer photos. You like press a button and it just like takes a bunch. But yeah, I really have friends take them. I think it's easier to get good angles, so I tend to do that. I got a lot of asking about my relationship, my boyfriend, if we broke up and everything, and we did. I am very hesitant to post a lot about relationships anymore because I've gotten quite a bit of hate of like, she's in and out of relationships all the time. Oh my God, what happened? Oh my God, I saw her and her ex out. She cheats, she does all this stuff. And it can get really hard to not only just deal with the pain of a relationship ending, but to also see all this like speculation online. But I also understand that it's my job and I choose to share online and I choose to share my relationship. So obviously people are going to be curious. So yeah, I am no longer with my boyfriend. And nothing, no bad blood, nothing serious, just gonna keep it personal. But I am single and I am trying to just make the best of it and moving through the motions of it. And I'm relatively doing okay. So again, with grieving, up and down, you know. Someone asked, favorite thing to journal about recently? That's a really good one. I think for me, I've been just really gravitating towards free writing. Just like every day opening the page and just free writing everything that I can in my brain. I feel like whenever I'm overstimulated and overwhelmed, which I have been recently, it's the prompt or the thing that I need the most is just to be able to like expel everything in my brain and just like out into the page. So I haven't been using a prompt. I've just been literally word vomiting on the paper. So, and handwriting is very therapeutic for me. I've been using it instead of like a notebook, I mean a MacBook or something like that, computer. What are you most excited to do in New York City? I am excited to see all my New York friends and just explore. I just can't wait to explore a new place. I think it's gonna be so good for me, and I'm like giddy and I'm very nervous as well, but I think it's gonna be good. Let's see, someone asked, I met a guy at the club last weekend, didn't exchange info, and it's going to haunt me forever. I have had this happen to me before, not recently, but just like in life. And I swear, like when you trust in timing, divine timing and the universe and whatever, it helps me so much to do those kind of practices of like, everything that's for me will show up in my life, or like things will always come back to me if I need to have them in my life. So I truly believe that if it was meant for you to have his info and to see him again, you will. If not, then not. So I really just believe that you're gonna see him again, or he was bad news and you dodged a bullet. So that's my thoughts on that. And that really keeps me sane, that mindset, truly. Tips for not feeling behind in life, getting stressed, feeling like there isn't enough time to do it all. 2 tips. First one is that there's a very common feeling. I feel that too, where it's like, oh my God, I have so much going on. How am I gonna fit everything in? There's not enough time in the day. Like, oh, I can't do everything, and like, what am I gonna do? And like, the timelines are weird and all of this stuff. But we forget that there actually is a lot more time than we think. And if you also take a look at your lifestyle and think like, okay, how could I prioritize my time better? Like, I've had to literally shift so many things in my life to properly start actually using my time wisely. Like stop scrolling on TikTok randomly, stop just like laying around during parts of the day, start waking up earlier, start, you know, like doing what's that called when you habit stacking is really great. So it's like doing 2 things at the same time and stacking your habits, so you're basically just like condensing things into less time of the day, and it can be really helpful. So I think like really looking at how you are spending your time, and then also just understanding that, you know, you have to take one thing at a time, and not everything can happen tomorrow or even just like this week. It's just about taking those small steps every day to get you closer to the end goal, the end thing that you need to do. You know, I feel like that's more of a comforting way of looking at things. So, when do you feel the most at peace? I feel at peace quite a bit. I think I feel at peace whenever I'm around people that I love and that comfort me. I feel at peace like when I'm being held, when I'm like really comfortable in bed and cozy and reading a book or watching a movie and just like safe. You know, I think like for me, obviously comfort and safety go hand in hand, and peace and safety go hand in hand. So that's a big one for me. I also feel at peace after I've like finished a really strong day of like doing all the things that I wanted to do. I know that might sound weird, but it really makes me feel at peace and like I'm on the right path, and like I'm putting myself first and I'm doing what I need to do. So those are both like 2 very different ways of finding peace, but I definitely find those the most, I think, in those 2 things. Also by the ocean. I find a lot of peace being by the ocean. Any tips on dealing with rejection? My heart hurts. It goes back to the same concept of like what's for you, what's meant to be for you, it will be for you, or like will be in your life. I really believe that rejection is just like redirection or whatever, and as corny as that is, it's very true. So just switching your mindset on what rejection really is. You know, you're being rejected from one thing, but that means that you can be redirected into another situation. It's not like the end all be all, you know what I mean? And it can hurt at first, and again, like you can have that mourning process of like, fuck, like that hurts and that sucks. But then, trust me, you're gonna be fine and you're gonna move on from it, and it's gonna be great. So, tips on having fun on a night out without alcohol. You guys, I've been out probably 15 times the last 2 weeks. No, that's a lie. No, that wouldn't make sense. It's 14 days. In the last 3 weeks, I've been out like 20 times. Like no, 15 times. Okay, I don't know. I've been out a lot. Okay, I'm not doing my math is not happening right now. But I've been out a lot, and I haven't really drank any of those times. I am someone who does not drink very much because I have a weird relationship with alcohol, meaning like I find myself not being able to balance it well, and I know myself, and I know that I don't feel good when I drink it. I have also kind of like minor reactions to it, I've noticed. So a lot of like weirdness happens, physical, mental discomfort. So I've been very hesitant to drink, and I've been really enjoying going out without drinking. So I think honestly getting used to how you are in a setting where people are drunk and where drinking is normal is very important. And then 2, finding things and finding people who won't care that you're not drinking, will support that you're not drinking, and won't make a big deal out of it. Because truthfully, no one really cares. Like no one even says anything to me. They're like, oh, do you want to drink? I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm just drinking water right now. They're like, cool, good, easy. So it's way easier than I think people think it is, but obviously too, if you need a confidence boost, or like if you use alcohol socially as something that makes you feel really good and more social and all of that, then, you know, I try maybe having some caffeine instead, or trying like a Ken drink. I know those could help a little bit, but honestly caffeine gets me going. It's definitely not the same as alcohol, but you know, like it can help. It can be a minor crutch, you know, but it's definitely doable. Making friends in LA, just moved and don't know anyone. I'm introverted as well. I think making friends in a big city, I actually have an episode on making friends, but I feel like really just putting yourself out there. It's hard when you're shy, but you have to do it. Like I literally DM girls I make little friend dates with them. I reach out to people I want to shoot or do stuff with, and it just happens. Like, you just got to do it. You just got to literally send it. Like, I've made some of my best friends, even some recent friends, that from just like shooting my shot or them shooting their shot at me and just being like, hey, let's hang out, or like come over, or like let's do a girls' night, or let me shoot you, or like anything like that, you know? Finding common ground really helps with that. How do you balance, I'll do like 3 more. How do you balance wanting to record, write down everything versus living in the moment? I think that I do struggle with this sometimes. I think that because I feel so aligned with documentation as something that I do, I just treat it almost like it's just part of my life and part of my job. Like, it's become something that is genuinely just so integrated into who I am that I don't really think of it as like, oh, I'm taking time out of my present life to document or to write or to post on Instagram or to like take photos. You know, it just becomes integrated into my routines and into my habits and into who I am, that it's almost just like second nature. And I think that's the key. It's like, once you get to that, into that rhythm of something that works for you, like, I don't mind it. I think that, you know, if you ask any of my friends, like, I think I'm pretty decent at, you know, being present with them. And like, when I'm on a date or when I was with my boyfriend, and like, I would really try to like be present and watch a movie with them and like not be on my phone, and kind of just like still, you know, like if I'm at a really cool view, for instance, I'll take in the view, I'll like take a deep breath, I'll look out, I'll like cherish that moment, and then take a quick photo, and it's seamless. You know, you got to make things seamless like that for yourself. That makes sense. I miss my ex so fucking much. I got a lot of these. It's missing ex season, obviously. I think it's important to note that you could miss someone and still not want to like be with them, or know you shouldn't be with them. That's a really hard and weird feeling, because you're like, damn, like I miss this person, but I know it's all, I also like can't be together. So that's a weird feeling. But I think like wishing someone well and mentally like wishing them well, wishing yourself well, forming that like, okay, I miss you, writing them a letter, even like writing them a letter and not sending it is like one of the best things you can do. Like, express how much you miss them, express like how you hope they're doing well and all that. But also, I'm someone that really like can't shut my fucking mouth, and like I will text my ex and be like, I miss you, you know what I mean? Like, or not I miss you, but like I don't know, like I can't not say anything sometimes. So I'm trying to take my own advice for that one too. Your favorite tattoo and its meaning. It's really hard because I have so many tattoos. Probably my angel back here. I have like this angel, and I think I really love it because it's one of my most well done tattoos, and it just like feels like I have a little angel on me. Like, I feel comforted by it. I'm like, oh, it's like my little angel. So I think it just has that kind of like connotation to it that I love. And it just was a really like significant time in my life where I got it. When I got it, I think that happens to me a lot. Is like I'll get tattoos during really important times in my life, and the tattoo, the meaning behind the tattoo is more just the meaning of like when I got it and where I was in my life and the reason why I got that tattoo, and not necessarily like what the tattoo symbolizes, if that makes sense, you know? So I don't know, that's kind of like where I stand with tattoos. But I haven't gotten a tattoo in a really long time, so I really need to like get back on that train because I really miss getting tattoos. But anyways, yeah, let's end it there because it's about the 20-minute mark. I just kind of wanted a little quick check-in video and episode just to kind of like restabilize myself. It's been hectic. I want to stay consistent. I really think it's good for me to stay consistent with my projects, like the podcasts and videos and stuff. But I think I also, you know, obviously need to honor how I'm feeling too. And so I will do the journal prompt one, or the journaling tour next week. But this week we're sticking with Q&A, and just bear with me. Love you guys. Happy also International Women's Day for all my like 90% women followers. I love you guys. And I hope everyone has a really great rest of their week.